Once again, I'm glad to be with you for Ask Chuck webcast. I think we'll still be in session next week before we take a summer break the month of August till Labor Day. The House of Representatives may finish this week and be gone for a longer period of time than we are from the Senate. But once again, I thank you very much for either through Facebook or email or Twitter participating in this way of communicating with my constituents, answering questions from my constituents, because this sort of dialogue is what's necessary to make the process of representative government work, and I thank you for participating in that process. As you know, my tradition here on Ask Chuck is to answer a couple questions that have been sent to me, and then those of you that don't get your questions answered video-wise, we will answer those questions through the mail. So the first question comes from Rod, Marshalltown. It's an email. Do you think Governor Brewer of Arizona should get your help instead of being sued by the federal government? I think Governor Brewer and the Arizona legislature did what I would expect any state legislature to do if the federal government's not carrying out its responsibilities of protecting the citizens, particularly when the border's involved in protecting our sovereignty and border security, and immigration generally is a responsibility of the federal government. When they don't do it, then I think Article 10, or I should say Amendment 10 of the federal Constitution and the police powers therein give the states not only the right but the responsibility of doing that. And I don't think that the lawsuit should have been filed. I think it would be better if there'd be a partnership between the state of Arizona and the federal government to make sure that the borders are secure. Because when it comes to life and death of our citizens, I think we would expect in Iowa, if the federal government couldn't do it, that we'd expect our local and state police to do that. And I think it's the same thing for Arizona. And I have made plenty of statements myself, as I just did here, backing up Governor Brewer's right to do that and sanctioning what she's doing. The next question comes from Ken, Windsor Heights, email. I recently saw a bunch of posters from World War II. What's happening to that kind of thinking and patriotism? Well, maybe we haven't been tested enough as we were in World War II so that patriotism would show. And also, on the other hand, maybe if we were tested to that great extent, maybe the patriotism wouldn't be as strong as it was during World War II. It's very difficult for me to answer your question specifically, except I very much believe that too often through our education system, we haven't spoken what's good about America. Too often we hear through the press, media generally, maybe through our educational systems, what's wrong about America. And obviously no country's perfect, but I still believe that the country of the United States and the government that our forefathers set up is the best that's been in the history of humankind, and that we should defend it, speak up for it, and be patriotic for it. Particularly, I think it's necessary to be very patriotic because the very freedoms we enjoy today are only here because there has been blood shed by our servicemen and women to defend our freedoms, and we owe a great deal of gratitude to those men and women for the defense of freedom. We may be on the small business tax reform bill yet this week. There's some evidence that Senator Reid wants to bring up an energy bill. That energy bill will probably not deal with the issue of what we call cap and trade, because most Iowans are opposed to cap and trade because they know that increasing the cost of energy is going to hurt our economy. I hope you'll tune in next week for Ask Chuck webcast.